Hello. Here I'll try to explain a little bit about the software I'm designing and show some results. So basically, the green dots fallen on the screen are food, and the white circles are the life forms, and the life forms can reproduce and can excrete waste, and these are the only two things it can do when uh, when it exists. The life form begins existing just the simple cell, the white circle, and at every reproduction, there is a chance of a mutation. The green dots falling are food, and every time the food and the life forms are in the same position, the life forms eat or get energy, and the energy level raises, and it may reproduce or may not reproduce because at this point the life form doesn't know when to reproduce. It's random. Some it's not. It's erratic, and that that's how it works for now. So basically, the food and the life form interacts when they are in the same position, and the energy level increases. I'll fast forward to show what happens next and some possible mutations. Okay, here for example, you can see in the right hand side of the screen there is some a life form, and there is this white line behind, and the oscillation of that flagella uh, produce a motion in the life form, and this respects really dynamics physics. So, for example, there is two mutations in that guy. One is an extra cell, and one is the flagella. The extra cell, for example, changes the center of mass, and then the motion generated by the flagella creates this circular motion, spinning, generates a torque and spins to the and spins basically. So that's how it works. And I'm fast forward, and you can see some things happen, not very interesting. Uh, and let's fast forwarding again. I want to show the what another mutation that it's already implemented, and I'm creating this audio after recording, so I know what's going to happen. So now, in the right hand side, you can see there is a flagella, and on the flagella there is an extra cell, and that's the just the beginning of an idea that will in the future add complexity to the life form, because I can add full a lot of cells and increase the propulsion when there is a cell on the flagella, and many cells will increase the propulsion, and I'll get more complexity and more control over the flagella. So here I'm fast forwarding, and there are some mutations happening, and there is some artificial intelligence being selected also. Okay, now focus on the center, that guy moving. That's an important step for evolution. Uh, that guy will give his descendants will be very important for the simulation specifically. So that guy, he was selected, and he had a very unique behavior. and it's passed on to his children, is that I'll show how exactly this works, but basically he when he is born, he waits for some time, and then he starts moving, and I, I didn't expect, I didn't plan for this, but in this environment this is an advantage, and this uh, created these types of behavior that is very adaptive in this context. And this it's interesting because it's still selecting. The way I implemented the mutations is that they every reproduction there is a chance of a noise on the parameters, and I'll explain briefly, shortly, how this works. And so it's uh, every descendant has the same mutations and sometimes other mutations, but that mutation, now I'm fast forwarding, uh, so I'll show something interesting right away. So it's I like the way it seems organic, the way it moves. Okay, now I'll try to explain a little bit about the logic, how the artificial intelligence is selected and how it works. So here I pick a new life form, and here's the logic center, as I call it. On the right hand side, it's in the left hand side, there is this green bars, and they are internal levels. The internal levels are energy level, energy rate, waste level, age, pitch, pressure, and they are internal in the sense that the life form doesn't have direct access to it. It's like our body, as humans, our body temperature. Body temperature, it's a value that exists, but we don't. Our organisms doesn't have direct access to it. It can have sensors that relates to our body temperature, but we don't know how many degrees, how many Celsius is our body temperature exactly, although the value exists. So it's the same here. These levels exists, but the life form doesn't have direct access to it. On the right hand side, on the life form control center, there are the inputs on the left and the outputs on the right side. And then the inputs and the outputs are randomly created, and they are selected, and the logic which connect one the input to the output, it's also selected, and it's a little bit random. um, and so the inputs are internal sensors that relates to a certain level of the internal level, and how it connects to the outputs, it's random. I can add a buffer, or part, or end part, and now it's really simple. But uh, it's simple, but it's already showing some results that I think it's interesting. For example, in this case, the first output, it's the reproduction output, and it's connected to the energy level at, I can't see, but I think it's 55%, 65%. So when the energy level gets to 50, I don't know that level, it will activate the output, and the life form will reproduce. And this in this case it's advantageous, and that's why he's still alive, because the reproduction costs energy. And so if it's in a level that is too low, the life form will die. So these guys, which are alive now, they are selected to reproduce at the right time. So it's a physiology intelligence. It must learn how to operate, and when to reproduce, when to release waste to survive. So here the simulation is now running. What I think is interesting is that, for example, this life form was selected to something that I can relate to real life. that is almost like sleeping, because it only moves. Uh, these life forms, they sleep for a bit, and it's advantageous because when they sleep, they wait for the food to be closer, and it's advantageous. And I think it's nice to see that the life form before was really simple, really stupid, just a white circle, and now it shows this behavior that it's I don't know, it's something that for me relates to life, and it was all selected, all naturally selected. And it, of course, this is really really simple, but this is just a concept, and I'll implement many other ideas that will increase the complexity. I've been working on this concept for 3 months, and I'm getting good results, and I'm getting surprised. Uh, and now what happens next is that the simulation, it's really laggy. The frame rate drops. It's still working, but it drops, and I have control over environmental parameters, and I will decrease the food quality, and so in hoping that the life form will die, because at least we'll have a smaller population. But what happens is that it's good adapting, and it will change how the strategy, and it will adapt. And so here it's changing already, and now the life form found another way to survive, and it doesn't sleep and waits anymore. It's just wandering, and it's good. So I'll keep uh, decreasing the food level. And now I'm not sure what I did, but I was because there is a strange cut. I don't know. I'm not good at editing movies, and I don't know what happened. But I kept lowering the food quality until I had just these life forms, and I think I was too aggressive, and they didn't survive. Uh, and just for, I don't know, it's for curiosity. Uh, this simulation, I didn't. It's just the second time I left for a long time, uh, and I didn't plan anything, and every time it's different. I'll have another simulation that the adaptation was completely different. The same settings, but the adaptation was completely different. The life form learned how to swim in a different way, and it's really interesting, and I like that. And so I'll keep. If you like it, please, I don't know, sharing, supporting, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.